So we're going to talk about the Getting Started module. And this is, when it comes to one of the most important and vital tools for your distribution company, I can't overstate it. This is after someone's come in, they've seen what we do, they've probably come to an OzNet, you're sitting down in the next 24 to 48 hours, and we're literally going to get them started. This is a tool and a resource that we've got for them to understand what we do, the resources, the support behind them, and really what the next step is. So for you, again, just like all the rest of them, use these tools. You got the outline, you've got the PowerPoint modules, you've got this video, right? Come in, not only learn the words to say, but the thinking and the understanding behind it. You want to be able to be clear. A lot of these, again, are insert here conversations. And so your ability to pull from the other modules, to be able to know where this is coming from, to be able to get the point across. And again, the other thing to remember is this is the introduction to some concepts, right? They're not going to necessarily, our new associates aren't necessarily going to get every concept, but the resources are there, and it's a building block. This is an introduction to follow up on stuff they've already been exposed to and starting the exposure process. So what we would do is when we sit down, right, we want to be able to get together with them in the next 24 to 48 hours, right? That urgency and that intensity is going to come from us. And when we sit down, there's going to be a lot of questions. The first thing you want to do is create a safe and a fun environment, right, where it's good to ask questions, to understand what's going on, what they like most about the meeting, what did they thought about, what conversations have they gotten into, who have they talked to, what is it, are they excited, what kind of feeling, is there an anticipation, right? Get all that stuff out. Our job is to, again, like everything else, lock them in as an ally, move them to advocate. This is our vehicle to move them to associate, but we want them falling in love with the system and the place, that they're not alone, right? And that you're more than just someone who's going to try to make money with them or from them, right? There's a support system behind it. So, and then when we get started, we're going to go back to this fight, drive, and play, and kind of an introduction to why we do this. Again, from the fight, it's the opportunity to make an impact, drive to be profitable, and play to win, right? We understand that Main Street families have been abandoned, and there's this access gap that we really want to close as a company and as a group of people, as an organization, that we want to stand and close this gap, that there's an opportunity for us to make a tremendous impact, right? And whether that's help one family a year or one family a day or 25 families a day, wherever it is, the person that we're sitting with is the most important person at that time, because they're the ones that we're able to listen. They're there that's able to listen to us. Then the driving for profit. See, the marketing. A lot of people think that Primerica is about sales, right? And the marketing side. Well, that's where income comes, right? But the distribution business is what allows us to get into profit. So we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the difference between being a business owner and being able to create profit, because for us to have access to that financial freedom that we talked about, it's the ability to have a machine that pays us whether we do it all or not. And that's one of the things that we really want to be able to implement. And then this last one is play to win, guys. People have not thought about their goals and dreams. This is new. You're going to first ask someone, hey, what would they like to accomplish over the next 90 days? To be honest with you, lots and lots of people aren't even going to know what's possible, right? So I always talk about, look, let's get you licensed. Let's get you on a path to be able to make $500 a month. Let's get you to see this thing work, right? And then look, over the next year, if we could have $25,000 saved or get you full-time, what is it? Let them kind of think about, if they maxed out this vehicle, what do they think they would like to accomplish? We want to start introducing that idea, because at the end of the day, fighting to make an impact in other people's lives is great, and that can inspire us. And driving to be profitable is great, because that can help us build security. But when it comes home to roost, it really is, do we feel like doing it? Do we feel like learning and growing and changing? And that usually is tied really to our want. When we're laying in bed and we got to decide, am I going to get out of bed? Am I going to go do something? It's usually not a big picture of the world impact that gets us to do it, and it's usually not for money. But if we can tie it to a want, right, and the opportunity to win to get it done, we got a good shot to be able to make that movement. And these are infusing and instilling habits for new people, right? And one of my favorite sentences, right, is you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. Right? We've got this strategic partnership, and this is an opportunity to really take a moment and help our new associates see what this means. See, Primerica has the products for Main Street families. They've built the compensation for ownership, right? Our system is built where a brand new person can come in, get started, learn with us part-time, build a team, start to build a company, grow, get promoted to vice president, open an office, promote more vice presidents, and literally create ownership with a billion-dollar company. Right? That's what they're starting at. There's an opportunity. Now, will everyone do that? No, because not everyone's going to want to do that. But can they? Yes. Are the tools and the opportunities there? Yes. If they want to make $500 a month, great. If they want to make $500 a year, great. If they want to help one family into 100 families, right? This is about creating a space. And Primerica says we'll provide the expertise and the financial services that you guys can leverage. Right? And that's all we want to do. And then the back office support system says, look, we want to be able to provide the experience and resources, right? From the client and the associate retention. How do we maintain all that stuff? How do we develop, and what tools and resources do we have to keep everything in line, that they don't have to be all overly organized and structured, and they don't have to be responsible for all of these pieces and how they're going to train and expand, and how do they know? All of that stuff is being built and provided as a support system for them. People with experiences that have already done this, and all they're going to do is leverage all the resources that we've got. Those two processes, those two organizations are constructed. Primerica is there to provide the financial services support. The back office is there to provide the distribution support so that we can build our company. We can start and build our resources. And our resources really is the ability to build our allies, our advocates, our associates, and our assets, right? Our allies are the people in our lives that we want their support. We want them to understand. Our advocates are going to become our feeder system, the people that are going to be on a lookout for amazing people that have maxed out their vehicle but haven't maxed out their potential. Our associates are going to be active, people that are in this mission with us to be able to go out and close this access gap and really be able to build a company for ourselves. And then assets is the ability to have passive income, the ability to have the freedom and the flexibility that income keeps coming in, so we have the ability to go, man, this is working. Our job is to leverage Primerica in the back office and then build our allies, advocates, associates, and assets. So when we sit down with a new person, that's our mission. That's our big picture of what we want to do. Once we do that, it's like, okay, well, what does that mean? How does that translate to a family? Well, here's an example of a family that we sat with before, because obviously if we can't make an impact, then this doesn't really matter. We don't want to waste our time. Well, here's a family. John was 34, Mary was 32. They had a 5-year-old and 3-year-old. When we sat with them, John was making $5,500 a month. Mary was making $1,800 a month, right? They had a $150,000 whole life insurance policy on John and $50,000 whole life policy on Mary, paying $200 a month, right? $300 a month was going in the bank, getting about 1%. And John had an old 401k with a job that he left with about $35,000 in it. And one of the questions you're going to ask is if we, so they were setting aside about $500 a month for their financial situation. And every time we sit down with someone, we ask them, how do you think you're doing when it comes to your money? Now we asked John and Mary, and their answer was, okay. Why? They had an income, they had some insurance, they had some money saved, and they were, for the most part, doing better than most of the people in their world. And that's how most of us evaluate our situation, right? We all have someone that's more messed up than us. Every time we feel bad, we call them, right? John and Mary were just like us. Main Street families going, we're doing the best we can. We're doing better than some, not as well as others, but we're just going along. We sat down with them and said, John and Mary, fantastic. We gathered up their information for their financial needs analysis, and here's where you get to see how the value of the access of the education and the tools can actually make a tremendous difference on one family's life. See, we were able to talk to John and Mary about $600,000 on John and $250,000 on Mary for the life insurance, paying $125 a month. Now, some people go, well, why do they need $600,000? Well, a $600,000 death benefit, if something happened to John, if we took that money and invested it and got a 10% rate of return, right, that would pay the family $60,000 a year in passive income, or $5,000 a month. See, what we were able to do is to talk to John and Mary about locking in the advances for those kids. They both have worked hard to get to this phase in their life, and if something, God forbid, happened, those kids, right, with no money saved, they're starting over. They've lost the entire generation, all the work that John and Mary have done to be able, all the education, all the books, all the research, all of that, really, to be honest with you, financially goes away. But with this, we're able to put $60,000 a year in passive income for John if something happened to him, and $25,000 a year in passive income for Mary if something happened to her. What that does is that makes sure those kids can continue to see what they can see and be able to build on it. And that's one of the things we want to do for Main Street Families is give them a legitimate shot to lock in those advances. But that still saved $375. We said, look, how come we're in debt? Because we don't have an emergency fund. Let's start saving. At the end of the year, let's have $1,000 saved, right? Are we going to get rich on $1,000? No, but you know what? The habit of having money saved starts to become addictive, right? We said, look, let's put the kids to college, right? $50 a month could, go towards a state school or any school. That money, if you put it into a 529 or a Coverdale, that money goes tax-free for education, right? We provide the tools and the access to the education to be able to do that. And then if we took the money and we rolled it over and put the money in the managed accounts, understand that would be $2.5 million, $2.2 million in retirement, actively managed money, being able to work, there's professionals watching. See, when we sat with John and Mary, they were okay. How do you think they felt now? $2.5 million of retirement, kids funded for college, emergency fund to get them out of debt, and passive income if something happened to lock in those advances. You think they might have been a little bit better than okay? See, that's the impact that we have. That's what we get to do. So when you're sitting with the new associate and you're telling the story, this is what they're going to be able to do. During the training process, this is what they're going to see and they're going to watch and they're going to learn. Now the great thing is, and the important part that I love is, we don't have to be the experts in financial services. We didn't construct and build the insurance or the investments. We're not building the portfolios and managing and actively managing the funds. We didn't build the financial needs analysis and all of that. We plug in the numbers, we gather the numbers, we plug it in and we show them, look, here's the education that you need, and here we have a strategic partnership with Primerica, and they're going to provide access to the tools. Together, we get a legitimate shot to make a difference. So do you believe that anyone else is going to stand up and stand in the gap, show up and stand in the gap for Main Street Families? No. Well, why can you say that? Because they haven't yet. And you're going to get to know the system, you're going to get to know the companies, and you're going to get to know why they can't. See, the reason we have to is no one else is coming. The reason we need to grow is no one else is coming. People ask all the time, why do we recruit? Why do we do this? And I always say there's 3 major reasons why we recruit. The first one is if we actually believe in this access gap that we want to close it, and the only way to really get wealthy in America is through ownership, then doggone it, if we're going to be in alignment, we have to provide a path to ownership. We have to. There's no other way. Otherwise, we're just disingenuous. We're not really doing anything. We're just trying to make it sound good. No, if we really want to close this gap, we really want to do something, then we have to provide people that want to own and get financially free a viable way to do it. So that's number 1. Number 2 is, look, Main Street Families, most of us, right, John and Mary thought they were okay. The only way that they were going to hear that there was another option is through our distribution company. They weren't looking for financial guidance, right? We had a brand new person. We had a new associate. His cousin went to us, said, John, I want you to help me. I want you to understand what I'm doing. We went and sat with John and Mary to help out the cousin and to have them understand what their cousin was doing. And we were able to tell this story. We need to be able to have a distribution, dissemination, the ability to get this information to people so they can hear it. And that happens through our distribution system. And then the third one is this last one. No one else is coming. And I got 24 hours a day and you got 24 hours in a day. And maybe you and I together can be really motivated and help, 10, 20 families a month, 30 families a month. But that's not changing the world. But what if we have 50 of us, or 100 of us, or 1,000 of us, or 1,000,000 of us? What if we blanket this country with people that are part-time or full-time that are building this thing and getting after it? There's 150 million families out there that need access to the education and the tools. You think we might be able to do something? That's why we want to grow. So we said, man, we got to provide a path. So I'm going to talk to you about the path to your company. First of all, we've got to get you in the system. Right, submit with your IBA. That's called your independent business application. Now here's the thing. In California, to get your life and long-term care license, it's $600. To get your securities licenses, depending upon the time, it could be $400, $500, $600. Combined, that could be as much as $1,200 if you wanted to get licensed on your own. Primerica says we want you working with us and not for us. Here's what we say is go, you know what? Forget that $1,200. We have a $99 IBA fee and $25 a month. You do the $99, that covers your life and long-term care license. The $25 a month gives you access to the education and the securities licenses. We want to give you all the tools and the resources that you need. Our company is stronger when our distribution force is stronger and bigger and more competent. Right? You go through the schooling. You can do what's called, you can do 52 hours or 32 hours. I believe, right, if Primerica is going to pay for me to get my life and my long-term care, then it's 20 extra hours, but the money, I'm going to do my 52 because there are going to be people that need that help. You're going to pass your test and you get appointed. When that happens, you're licensed. You can go out when you know what you're doing, and we've got this, and you run the modules, right? You can go out and change some families' lives. Now, I always ask, would you like to know kind of how the compensation, right, we said we're going to leverage Primerica's comp. Would you like to know about it, right? Because a lot of times people, when we talk about money, there's this weird feeling like we're not supposed to be excited about being profitable. And I just don't believe that, right? I believe that you should have reasonable profit for a reasonable service. If I can help John and Mary change their financial situation, I think it's okay that we're profitable. Right? As long as we lock them as an ally, move them to advocate, and have the opportunity for associate, then we are companies in alignment. So let's say we have a part-time representative help 5 families lock in their advances. Right? They're going to make, I don't know, $800-900. That's not bad part-time. A couple hours, a week to be able to go out, licensed, help a couple families, make $900. But you see here, that's our income, right? That's the marketing side. If they are licensed and they go out and they distribute a product, and they sell a product, they market a product, they're going to make income. But we want to be able to move to profit. Our company wants company builders. So we said, look, you recruit somebody. We don't get paid a dime to hire you. It's not one of those things. But we're going to teach you how to build a company. You recruit one person, you become a senior rep. A senior rep does the exact same work. They all make $1,200. Now $1,200 is a little bit better than $900 for the same work, right? But now all of a sudden, let's say things start going, you start really learning how this works. We realize that this access gap is real, and there's lots of people that want to do something different. You recruit 3 people. You're now a district leader. A district leader does the same work the rep does, but now make $1,800. It's a 100% raise, and our goal is always by the time they get licensed. But see, it doesn't just end there, right? We've all done that at jobs. We go out, we get a promotion, we make more money. But we want to build a company. Let's say that out of those 3 senior rep, those 3 people that you recruited, they're all senior reps, and they helped 5 families a month. So you as the leader helped 5, got paid $1,800. Let's say your entire organization helped another 5. The company pays them that $1,200, but there's a gap. There's a spread between the $1,200 and $1,800 to $600. That comes to you. The company says, you know what? If it weren't for you, those 5 families wouldn't have been helped because we wouldn't have recruited and trained and developed those new associates. So we're going to put our money where our mouth is and says, if you help us grow this distribution and you get these services out and we tell this story to this group of people, we want to make sure that all of our goals are in alignment. Now the fun thing is, whenever you do something, for me, whenever I do something once, I'm like, oh God, that was kind of cool. When I do it a second time, I'm like, oh, I actually know how to do that. By the 3rd time, I get more confident. By the 4th time, I'm like, okay, I got this. Well, here's the thing. You recruit 3 people to get promoted to district leader. You recruit 3 more people to get promoted to division. 3 more people get promoted to regional leader. And 3 more people get promoted to vice president. See, by the time you've done that 4 times, you can be very good at it. You know the systems and the tools and the language and the conversations. And that's how we can literally build somebody to ownership. And as an RVP, you did the same work you did as a rep. You now make $4,000 versus $900. Our full-time opportunity says, man, we want to talk about profit and the ability to realize that there's something special. But it's about distribution. It's not just about going out and marketing some products or some services. It's about building a company and getting this message out. It's about standing there and closing this access gap. It's about providing the resources and the tools to as many people as possible and legitimately showing up when no one else is going to. And the best way to do that is to grow our distribution source. So if you develop a district leader that helps 5 families, the company pays them the $2,400, but the company pays you for $2,200. You understand that there's an opportunity now for there to be a big difference between that. right? You go out, let's say, develop another, and another, and another. The company pays you $2,200 for every, these are averages, but for every team that helps 5 families, right? The ability as an RVP to earn. Now, let's say one of them you promote to district. You teach them how to help 5 and how someone else helps 5, just like that. Now, all of a sudden, you pay $2,200 for the team, the district did, and their team. You understand, if you do that over the next 6 months, year, you build an organization that helps 35 families. You're helping 5. And you've got 4 or 5 people that are just them and their organization are helping 5 families a month hear this story. That's $15,000 a month. You understand, less than 2% of this country makes over $100,000 a year. And we built a game plan to support somebody in our strategic partnership to literally show you, and I'll show anyone how to make part-time money and a legitimate opportunity to start to build a company that can start to change our situation. So we go, look, what are the goals? How do we do this, right? I'm always a big believer in creating that want. What are we talking about? You and I being on the same page. There's nothing worse to me than one person thinking one thing and someone else thinking another, and they're out of alignment. They're off communication. They're trying to create different things. None of it works. So I was asked, what would you like? By the time you get your state exam, would you like to be a rep, a senior rep, or a district? Now, most of the folks, the goal is they'll set a district. I go, that's great. It's one thing to say that. But we want to make sure it's clear. Look, to become a qualified rep, we're going to have to go on 2 to 4 appointments. To become a senior rep, the averages, we got to go on 4 to 7. And to become a district leader, we're going to go on 8 to 15 appointments over the next 30 to 45 days. Right? The biggest goal is, how do we do this? If we saw 2 families a week for the next 4, 5, 6 weeks, we get that done. That's not 2 million. That's not all 15 tomorrow, but we start realizing that there's some habits there. So is that still what you want to do? And a lot of folks, people say, yes, we fight for that. And if it's not, that's okay too. This is about accomplishing what you want to accomplish and building. Advances are permanent, right? So, but then when we get there, what's our goal? And up front, the number one is we want them in your corner. We recruit allies, advocates, and associates, and it starts with the first appointments. The single most important thing that you're going to see is we're going to lock in these people as your allies. Right? Then we're going to talk to them about staying in the gap. If, just like John and Mary, if we can help them lock in advances, if we can help them secure their advances, if we can help them establish habits, we are absolutely going to do that because no one else is coming. And then we're going to offer them a shot to own. And I know there's lots of people who might not see themselves doing this, but it gives us the ability to have the conversation. And I'm telling you, you will be surprised because there's a lot of people that lay in bed say, man, if I could find something that's real, find something that's credible, find something that's in alignment with who I am, find something that I can make an impact and I can accomplish what I want, man, if I could find that, I'd do it. And we say we offer a shot because, in my opinion, we bring those 5 things. And one of the really fun things, and this is like, so when we're on these appointments, let's say that you have an Uncle Bill. And let's say Uncle Bill has $173,000 in an old 401k. It's kind of sitting there. And all of a sudden, you got your licenses, you got your everything, and you called him up and said, Uncle Bill, I just got my licenses. I want to roll over your investments. What's the likelihood of Uncle Bill saying, come on over, this is awesome? Or is it more likely for Uncle Bill to be like, great, why don't you go spend another year or 2 or whatever figuring this thing out because I don't want you practicing on me? Well, most of our Uncle Bills think that way. But I got a question. If you and me or you and your developer went and saw Uncle Bill, and Uncle Bill went through, told the story, we told the story to Uncle Bill, talked to him about active management, all this other stuff, and you had a licensed developer with you that knew how to answer all the questions, what's the likelihood of Uncle Bill at least being open to listening to your developer? Really pretty good. Well, what we do is, if we roll that money over and we create that stuff, see, it doesn't cost, if we do it in the managed accounts, it doesn't cost Uncle Bill to put it in, doesn't cost him to pull it out. That money grows and allows us, and then there's an opportunity for growth. But what we do is those assets ultimately are yours. What we'll end up doing is when you pass your Series 6 and 63 and then you get your 65 license, right, Uncle Bill can do what's called a dealer change form and transfer that money from your developer over to you. And then you have the ability to create passive income. Uncle Bill wasn't going to give you most of our Uncle Bills wouldn't give us the money and invest with us the day we got licensed. But because he's got a relationship with your developer and the managed accounts, now he has the opportunity to help you and it doesn't cost him anything. Good things can happen. Well, let's say that adds up and over your training we find $1 million. Your passive income would be $362 a month as a district leader. That's $4,300 a year in passive income. And you could accumulate that while you're getting your allies and advocates in your corner. We're standing in the gap and we're offering them a shot to own. While you're on your way to district leader and getting your promotion and learning the system and all that stuff, we're literally building you assets. Well, why would an RVP do that? Well, this is a distribution model. Let's say an RVP has 30 districts, each of them with $1 million. That's $30 million of management to their district leader. That pays an RVP $8,300 a year, or $100,000, or $8,300 a month, or $100,000 a year in passive income. That's not the life insurance. That's not the RVPs. That's not the overrides. That's just the passive income. Guys, we want to be able to build a company. We want to be able to stand in the gap and fight and get to have a legitimate shot for financial freedom through ownership. And the ownership of providing access to the education and the tools. It's all together. So this is where we want to get you if we get you promoted to district leader. So then the question becomes, well, how are we going to do it? Who are we going to see? Okay, how am I going to go see these 8 to 15 people? Am I going to have to go walk up and talk to strangers? Am I going to have to, spend $10,000 a month on advertising? Well, look, in our business, in every business, we call it our secondary market and our primary market. Man, we can meet some great people out in the world. And you're going to learn how to do that, because if I'm the biggest advocate for my company. If I meet you, we're going to talk. And I believe that this is a great opportunity for a lot of people. But that's not where I want to build my life. Right? I got great people in my life. My hot market and my warm people. There's people I haven't seen. Right? This is called our primary market. These are people that we have relationships with. Well, man, if I'm going to get into business, I want to work with my primary market. I want to be able to grow. If I was going to open up a Cuban restaurant, right, I don't eat Cuban food all that much, but if you were going to open up a Cuban restaurant, I might eat it once or twice a year. But man, if you had a grand opening and I came, you wouldn't go like, man, you got to come here every day. It's no. I just want you to know you're here. Because if you know I'm here, if you go once or twice a year, you come to this one. I'm like, cool. Well, if there's 1,000 people at the grand opening, that's a pretty good shot for a platform to grow. We're going to grow our business the same way. We're going to recruit allies and help them be supportive. We're going to recruit advocates and give them a platform to be involved. And we're going to recruit associates and a shot to be active. And so we're going to develop that through our market. So what we've got to do is we've got to find who the most important allies in our life are. So we do this drill. It's called our Oz drill. So why don't you grab a piece of paper, we're going to go through it, and we're just going to ask these, right? If you got married, who are the 3 people that would stand next to you? When you die, because it's all going to happen, who are the 6 people that are going to carry your casket? Right? If you won 4 tickets to your favorite sporting event, who would you invite? If you got a flat tire at 11 o'clock at night, who would you call? What 2 people in your child's emergency card at school? If I threw a surprise party, who are the 5 people that you'd want me to invite? If you were to choose godparents for your children or your child right now, who would it be? And who would give you a great recommendation no matter how well they know you? Right? We all know that one. Right? Well, here's the thing. These people are the most important in our lives. So here's what you do, is you build your list. And you're like, okay, who showed up most on the list? Whose name did you write down the most? They're number 1, and then number 2, and number 3, all the way down to at least your top 10. And then what you do is you go through and go, okay, are they married? Are they 22 to 62? Do they have kids? Do they own a home? Do they have a job? And check those off. Because that's our mantra list. What that's going to do is that's going to tell us the best way for you to see this work, for them to hear us. Right? If someone got in the business at 20 years old, right, living in an apartment, we're probably not talking a lot about retirement and college. But we could talk about an unbelievable opportunity. If somebody's 43 years old, got 3 kids in private school, there's a good chance we can talk about planning and saving. Right? There's a message that they can hear. So we say between 0 and 3 stars, man, we want to go tell the coffee shop. We want to invite them. We want to talk to them about the company. Right? From 3 to 5 stars, we're going to talk about our kitchen table and the opportunity to tell that story and where things are going. See, what happens is once we have a direction, we know how to tell the story. Let's go, well, what do you say? Go, well, I'm coming over. Right? At the end of the day, your buddies, you don't have to have some fancy script. What should I say? Hey, there's someone I want you to meet. I want you to understand what I'm doing. I need your support. Right? That's what we're actually doing. These are people that you know. Guys, this is the building block of our company. So now you have a good idea of our big whys, of our strategic partnership, of the impact, of what it's going to take to get you licensed, of our compensation plan, of where our focus is, and how we develop our market. See, now it's the next step. Well, our goal is, for all of these, is to develop our allies. We want 4 to 7 Yelp reviews. My job, our job, is to help you build your reputation and to utilize the tools that we've got in American business now to start letting people understand there's a good platform to tell those stories. We were going to develop 7 to 10 what we call strategic partnership introductions, where we're going to let them know that they're the building blocks to your company. And if they could keep an eye out for amazing people that have maxed out their vehicle but haven't maxed out their potential, because there's going to come a point that they're going to think of you. We're going to recruit our associates and get promoted to district leader, right? And then the goal is to find $1 million in assets by the time they get licensed. That'll pay you $362 a month in passive income. See, our objective is to build the Allies, Advocates, Associates, and Assets. So step 1 is, what we've got to do now is we got to submit your IBA. If we can get you licensed and through this process, is there any reason that you wouldn't want to go into business and be a part of this? No. Okay, well then let's get on Primerica Online, because we'll get your solution number. Right? We'll register you for Primerica Online. You can understand the tools and the resources in the back office, the entire support system that's there, and we'll get you registered for your classes. See, it's one step and then the next. We didn't get here overnight. We're not going to get out of here overnight. But you know what we can do? We can absolutely take the next step. And then once we get those things knocked down, let's put up an absolute game plan together to build your support system. What I like doing, and the concept is, man, what if we saw 2 families a week, every week for the next 5 weeks or 10 weeks? We could start building and getting promoted, start understanding, start developing this stuff, and start creating the habits. Maybe you can do more, maybe you can do less, maybe that's not enough, maybe it's too much. This is about your wants and us making sure that we make all the tools that we have available. Guys, this is our getting started. It's okay, by the way, to have a conversation, right? So it's not start to finish, right? Get some feedback, ask some questions, make sure they're clear. Know this stuff, get clear and understand what you're trying to get accomplished, because this is the building block to your new associates moving forward and feeling like they have the resources and the tools to get started, right? And then remember, this presentation reflects the opinions of the speaker, not those of Primerica. And the presentation is designed for internal training purposes only, right? These are the tools. These are the resources that we've got. We want to be able to max them out. We want to be able to put our people in the best position to be successful. Talk to you soon.